Sorry about that. If you are on YouTube, I'm hoping you are finding your way back. Alright, I'm just going to give it a second for people to hop back on. I really apologize about that. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but for whatever reason, it allows FaceTime calls in and it kicks out everything. And I don't know how to, I'm going to have to search. I don't know if there's a way to stop that. Hey Arnetta, sorry about that. Thank you for finding your way back. Hopefully other people, I was saying that, hey Cynthia, thank you for finding your way back. I was hoping people, saw it in the chat. I film using my phone, and I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and a FaceTime calls knock out the sound. So I'm definitely, and that's what happened I think a couple weeks ago too. I'm gonna have to, I mean, I don't get a ton of calls, but it's my family, but remind them. I don't know if my dad made it back on, but Dad, if you're listening, tell Meg not to call me. Text her for me. Alright, so I'm just top stitching the card slots. I always need to remember to hold my tails, because then I get the little loop. Hey Charlene, thank you! I really apologize. I'm so thankful for everyone who is finding their way back. It's funny because I use I stream to YouTube through my like regular phone, and then I have an old phone, like an iPhone, I think it's like a 10 or something like that, that I'll stream to YouTube, to TikTok with. And so TikTok has been on and like heard me raving. Dad, can you text Meg and tell her not to call me that I'm on a live? Yeah, I feel so bad though, because I'm like, I set it up, I scheduled it, I posted the link, and so when it gets kicked out, it's like you have to set it all up again with all the different settings. So I appreciate you guys hopping back on. Alright, so I have my card slots here. I still have them clipped in the back, and you could base stitch them down, but I am just going to, these are the side pieces. Instead of base stitching them, I'm just going to line them up and kind of do the base stitch at the same time that I'm attaching these end pieces. So basically I'm creating, where this panel here is just flat, I'm creating that using card slots. Yeah, seriously, Charlene. You know what's really like ironic too is that I'm actually pretty decent with technology, and like I use all the Adobe products and like edit the videos and taught technology and to my students and stuff. But I don't, and it's, what's weird is that putting my phone on like Do Not Disturb used to block the calls, and I think it still is blocking the calls, but it's not blocking FaceTime. So I'm gonna have to look. I wonder if in one of the updates the setting changed, or I know that there's a setting that's like allow calls in an emergency. So I don't know if maybe one of those things got turned on. But like I said, I I really appreciate everybody finding their way back. With the water resistant canvas, it's kind of hard to see which side's the wrong side or right side. Sometimes it doesn't really matter, but usually if you scratch it, sometimes you can see a white mark. It's less noticeable on water resistant canvas compared to waterproof, but it's still there. So that's how I'm telling right now. I don't know how noticeable it is like through the camera. No worries, Dad. Thank you. So yeah, I talk to my family every night, but because I was doing that recruiting event, I didn't talk to my sister, so I didn't get a chance to remind her that I would be on tonight. I'm just going to sew both of the sides and then top stitch them open. Some people, if you wanted to be like quicker about this, some people don't top stitch their card slots. I've definitely have not top stitched them at some points, and I've not had a problem. As long as the material has some type of structure to it. I probably would top stitch and add some interfacing with like quilting cotton, but because this has some structure, it will be fine if you didn't top stitch them. Aw, thanks, Cynthia. Yeah, I was telling my dad, I was like, even though I had that, like, another event tonight, I still was home. So I was like, I still want to make sure I go live. Because I appreciate all of you joining in for it. And I look forward to it, too. It keeps me motivated. Oh, Charlene, there's 10 months. So month 8 just released. I have to put my tutorial video. So the month 9 will be the end of this month. And then in April, month 10 is the clue where we learn to put it all together, and we'll see the end result of what the quilt looks like. Are you enjoying it, Charlene? Yeah, so for cotton cuts, if you're following along with me with that, under the sea, we are in, month 8 was the last one. The end of the month, month 9, or clue 9 will release. And then this past Friday, last Friday, clue 2 for Field of Dreamers came out. Oh, nice! Yeah, March has been, or end of February, March has been very busy. One of the cool things, last week, we won tickets to, so being in New York, there's lotteries for the Broadway plays where you can win discount tickets. But when you enter them, it's like for the next day. So Jason and I won the lottery for Buena Vista Social Club. So last week we went and saw that last Thursday. It was incredible. I love musicals, and we were in the front row, so it was really awesome. Alright, so I have the card slots finished. The bottom one is like a tiny bit crooked. You could measure it before you sew everything, but to me it's barely noticeable, and it's for myself, it's for a sample just to be able to take pictures, so I'm not too worried. And you'll notice that it's a little bit bigger than what I am sewing it to. So I'm just going to match up the centers of the bottom, use the top side to baste it, and then trim around. In the pattern, I tell you use the template, but this way I don't have to move off camera and like grab a cutting mat and all that. Hey Janet, how are you? Oh, Charlene, it's incredible. If you ever come to New York and you can see a Broadway play, like so good. Buena Vista Social Club is about a group of musicians in like Cuba before the revolution. So it was really cool because some of the other musicals, or most of the other musicals I've gone to, they have like an orchestra pit, but because the play is about musicians, like the musicians themselves were also the actors and on stage, and the dialogue was in English, and all the songs were in Spanish, because it's based on, like, Buena Vista Social Club is like a real thing, like real people, so you can like Google it and see the songs and stuff. Hey Nikki, how are you? Good to see you. I'm so glad that all of you have made your way back. If you're just hopping on, we had some tech difficulty. I was on and then lost sound. So I really appreciate everybody hopping on. So Jason and I, oh Charlene, if you ever make it here, you have to let me know. My sound is quiet? Is it quiet to other people too? Now I'm worried again. Been sorting things out, yes. I've been good, just very, very busy. A lot of prepping for, we're doing a quilt show in April. Okay. Last week, Jason and I got a 3D printer. So we've been playing around with different things. Jason's been awesome. So if any of you do 3D printing and you have cool sewing tools, definitely let me know. I'll show you in a second. Jason's been doing some different bowls. So like I just have the clip container here from Amazon, but different bowls that you could put your clips in, or just sewing tools. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, Cynthia. I have been very like pleasantly surprised. All right, I'm gonna grab a pair of scissors so I can trim this, and then I'll grab it and show you too. So the dinosaur, and it's cool because this one you can make it with holes or not holes. So it was actually meant for plants. And what's really funny is I have a Stegosaurus little planter with succulents in it. So now I'm going to add, I think it's a Brontosaurus. Brachiosaurus. This is where my students would correct me. One time I said, oh my gosh, what is it? Pterodon? I said pterodactyl, which is like what when I was a kid learned that was the flying dinosaur, but apparently those are pterodons. So I probably named this dinosaur wrong. I'll have to find out from my students. And then we made a kitty. And this one I love because it's like the texture of it with the fur. You know, Charlene? So what's nice is Jason is very tech savvy, so he's the one that's been like diving deep into all the 3D printing stuff, which is nice. So I can focus on the sewing and then he could do that. And then we did this little doggy. I don't know how well it shows up in the lighting. We have so this is more of like maybe like a lab type dog. And we have a Shih Tzu printing right now. And then we did this giant sewing bowl, or I could say sewing bowl, but you could like put your tools in it and stuff, or I guess a massive amount of clips. But it's been a lot of fun. We've been experimenting with a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, so our plan is we've been testing out to see which ones like print nice, because I'm going to take some of them to the AQS, but once like we're really confident with it, I do plan on putting them on our website as well. Yeah, I love the cat bowl too. I'm a sucker for orange cats. Right now we have a tabby cat and he's amazing. Not tabby, a tuxedo cat, and he is great. I've always had orange cats or tuxedo cats. So we did this one orange because it reminds me of my old cat that passed away last year. Or is it 2 years? 2 years ago now. Because we actually have almost had Hunter for a year. Oh, and then the gnome. And this one's like kind of deep, so I wouldn't use it for clips, but it would be good for like scissors or your pens and stuff. I also feel like as a teacher or just anybody that has like a desk or an office, I feel like I can never have enough like organizers or holders. Oh, he is so smart, Charlene. Like, he definitely keeps us on our toes. He was a rescue. Jason literally just pulled it off the printer. It's still warm, but how cute. This is the Shih Tzu one, and it's neat because look at the little tail. Oh, that came out so good. This is the first time I'm seeing it done. It was the first print of it, and so I saw it as it was going. But it's so cute. Yeah. So our cat Hunter, we thought we were just gonna like foster him, and then we fell in love with him. But he's so silly. Like, he came from a hoarding home of over 30 cats. And I don't think anybody ever pet him before. So it took us like 2 months before we could even pet him. And we'd have to like feed him a treat. And then he would like slowly come up to us. And as soon as the treat was done, you had to stop petting him. Now you can pet him. You cannot pick him up at all. But he's very good. He doesn't like jump up onto like counters or anything like that. He doesn't even jump up on the couch. Like, I guess maybe he does it when we're like asleep, but he doesn't do it when we're awake. So yeah, Charlene, they were super detailed. Like, I was looking. What's cool about the 3D printer is that it comes with the program, and so you can just search designs that people have already made. And most of them are free. There's some that, like, if you want to use them, they're free, but if you want to sell them, then you have to buy a commercial license. So I was looking for ones that are detailed, because I really, really love the details in it. The only downside is then it does take a little bit longer, obviously, to print them. They're not quite as quick. I think the Shih Tzu dog was almost 6 hours. All right, perfect. So now I have both of my exterior outside panels. So I am going to work on the zipper. And I have antique bronze. This one came from Lauren at Mormino. I'm not sure if it was like a bundle of, I think it might have been a bundle of 3 that I had purchased. And I'm going to put the pull on afterwards. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Cynthia, I hope that, I guess we'll find out if I'll be crying when the electric bill comes in. It's so neat to like watch it like put out the what's it called? Like the plastic coming out of it. And it's, we got the brand that we got is Elegoo, and it's been pretty user friendly. Jason was able to show me how to use it in a few minutes and just transfer the files over pretty quick. I'm gonna sew this. I usually with my zippers, I always base stitch it and then sew the other one, the other side. But just for time to be quicker, I'm doing both at once. Yeah, exactly. Jason is a morning person. He's up super early, so he's been starting some of the prints in the morning. So that way we can still get quite a bit done each day. I'm going to top stitch it open at the same time so that way I don't have to switch my feet right away. What I do need to be mindful of is that this print is directional, so I just want to make sure that when I'm adding it on, that when it flips open it will be at the correct like the correct direction. I can't tell you how many times I've done that accidentally, is flipped around the directions of the fabric. Actually, I'm just going to put a couple clips on this side to hold it out of my way. So honestly, like what I usually do, anything directional, I will literally line it up and then just move it to make sure that I am putting it the correct direction. I'm excited for the fabrics that are coming in. I think I ordered a restock of this one. This is one of our really popular prints with like the passport stamps. But I also ordered quite a few newer like floral prints for springtime. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. They look good in the photos that they sent, so I'm hoping they look just as good in person. this is where it's going to get a little interesting, because normally I will top stitch them and then just kind of go around, but I need to stick the foam in there, and I don't want to catch that in the zipper top stitch. So I'm going to top stitch it first and then baste down all the edges. So if you make bags, do any of you use foam? Are you a fan of it or not really? I feel like I use everything from foam, Decaville Light. I've used the Wall-Wack Profuse. I've bought like some self-stick ones. Tried a whole variety. And I'm making sure I'm pulling it away from my zipper just to make sure, because sometimes if I don't do that with water resistant or waterproof canvas, sometimes I find that kind of folds back on itself and it makes it hard to open the zipper. Hey Nicole, how are you? Use foam. Yeah, oh, I love foam with quilting. Or if I'm doing one that's not really structured, I'll just quilt onto fusible fleece. I like that option as well. Yeah, the self-adhering, I had purchased some, it wasn't foam, but it was through like a supplier to try. And I really liked it, but it was kind of thick and you had to like use muscle to, it was almost like, it wasn't squishy. I get, it felt almost like felt, if felt was stiff. I love asking what people prefer, just because I like trying new things, and I always think it's fascinating, just preferences, and I know a lot of it is also, you know, what your sewing machine can handle. Hey Katie, how are you? So now that I have a top stitch, this is where now I'm gonna sneak these little pieces in. I cut these really quickly. I might need to trim, I'm gonna trim them down just another 1/4 of an inch. I cut them slightly too big. Because I really want to avoid the foam in my seam allowance. I know my machine can go through it. My machine is really strong, but it just makes it more tedious. I'm doing well, thank you. And the foam is cut down, so it shouldn't be in the outside seam allowance or like the edges either. And again, it's something that I probably should measure so it's like evenly through, but I'm just going, oh, I just broke a clip. I'm just centering it by eyeball for time. the other side. I'm going to baste them all at once. This is coming together pretty quick, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I know the fabric can be slippery, and I was a little worried about it with the foam underneath, but it seems to be okay. It's not really slipping or pushing out underneath my presser foot. And I'm going to put my zipper pull on before I forget. I'm using one of our globe zipper pulls. We have a whole bunch of ones that work well for like school, which include the globe, but I love this one because it also, since this is passport stamps, I feel like it works really well for that too. I didn't think about it when I basted that close. I had a line of stitching right through the center I had to cut just now. Alright, perfect. And I have 2 D-rings. And these are super tiny. These are just 1/2 inch D-rings. So I am, I cut these to 1 inch and folding to center. You definitely can use wider ones. I just like them because they line up pretty much perfectly with the zipper tape, like the teeth. Because it definitely can be a little bit tricky. Yeah, I don't use foam is probably like the one that I use the least. But mostly because a lot of the bags I make are not structured. Or like you said, if they are structured, then I just use whatever, like the vinyl's already structured enough. And I didn't mark a line down to center. I'm turning these and eyeballing them as well. So I'm hoping I'm catching it. If not, I'll have to actually do it. Yeah, for Hershey, it is bring your own sewing machine this year. Hey, Gail. Jessa was saying that since it's her first year, that she doesn't have like a partnership or anything where, or investing in like purchasing machines. So it is bring your own. Yeah, I just added the pull, Nicole. I was, that's what happened. I basted it around and then I had to trim it. But I'm glad you said that because I did almost forget to put it on. Yeah, see, this is where it's getting super tiny right now. Hopefully this is thick enough. Like I said, I didn't mark the center, so. And you could use double-sided tape for this. Alright, I think it caught. I'm hoping it caught this way too. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. Yeah, I really like our zipper pulls. We have quite a few that are custom. We design themselves. I'm like, as a teacher, I'm pretty particular. We have those, school buses, school books, and science beakers that I tend to grab a lot. Although with the nicer weather, it will be like the palm trees and flamingos. Today in New York, it was almost 80 degrees. I think my car said 78 while I was driving. I am so excited for the warmer weather. Like, stepping outside today, it even, like, smells like springtime. It's so nice. I hope we don't get one of those freak, like, snowstorms that sometimes come through in March. And so these are directional. So I am going to make sure. I'm debating if I don't think I'm gonna do it. Sometimes I put a line of top stitching, but these are so small as it is that I am just. My personal preference is not to have like really long D-rings, so I'm just centering. I mean, you could see this is why I like the 1/2 inch, because it literally just fits over the zipper tape perfectly. So I'm just going to base them into place. I'm just using my regular foot. I think it's close enough. You could switch to a zipper foot to make it even closer. When I stitch the other part of the gusset on, I'm probably going to have to use a zipper foot. You know what? I just measured it against the 3/8. I think I'm gonna move it further back, even though I don't like them quite as long. But if I leave it where it is, the 3/8 is gonna be very, very close to the D-ring, and I think it's gonna give me some more trouble than I want when I'm putting the gusset together. I'm just using these scissors to basically seam rip because I don't know where my seam ripper is. But it worked fine. Wow, we were warmer than you, Charlene. Wow, that's a big jump. 70 to 90? Oh, no thanks. I can wait on the 90. I don't need like summer weather yet. It's just nice not having 2 feet of snow. Read an article that the other day there was like 16 different states that broke heat records. March is always funny in the Northeast and like New England area, because you could get the 70-degree day and then literally have a blizzard the next. Right, Nikki? Like, I'm done. I've shoveled more snow this year than I have in like the last 5. I'm okay for it to be done. And if you were like sewing this, I would recommend measuring them to make sure they're the same distance, but again, I'm just eyeballing it for tonight. Yeah, well, that's what I was reading, that apparently with like the way the jet stream and like the different air currents, all that like cold Arctic air got pushed down a lot further than normal. So like there was a day that New York was like was colder than Alaska. And I'm like, that's, yeah, I'm okay. Like, I don't need that. Minnesota, yeah, normally you guys are constantly buried. I'm just trimming down my zipper tape before I put the rest of the gusset together. I'm leaving a little bit of overhang to get caught in the seam allowance, but not much. Yeah, I was talking to my parents, and I feel like even with like the snow here, I don't remember having this much snow since like we were a kid. I was a kid. Alright, so this is now another where I have to, I'm lining up everything. Usually, again, I would base the lining, but I'm pretending to open this because, see, by doing this, I realized that it's directional, so they would not be facing the same way. Alright, that's the way that's going to make it. And I'm just going to clip all of this at the same time. Yeah, Katie, you would know being in Greenland. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Okay, the polar vortex. Wow, we were having spring temperatures. Did you have a lot of ice melting? I don't know how it is in like other countries, but I remember growing up here learning like the difference between Iceland and Greenland, that Greenland had more ice than Iceland did. Like their names were basically reversed based on their what they actually look like. Yeah, it's so bizarre how so far up north. It's also kind of sad with climate change and stuff. So I just did that one side, and I'm going to do an extra line of stitches just over the D-ring area to really secure that in. This isn't a huge bag, so it's not going to be like ridiculously heavy, but I always like to reinforce that area when I can. Oh wow, that's fascinating. It's so interesting to me that no volcanoes there. Green in spring. One day I will visit. I love traveling. I want to go to like all the countries. Yeah, I was reading about one of the ice things in Antarctica breaking off, like a massive ice sheet or something. I don't know. I read all the, I love like scientific, like a lot of people, I don't really watch a lot of TV, but like when I go to bed, I'll watch all like the National Geographic, like all the animal shows and scientific type ones. That worked out perfect because I ran out of bobbin, but I ran out of bobbin at the end. Yeah, I'm imagining that the water level rising in coastal areas, like even here in New York, they're saying that Manhattan's like sinking at a certain rate, and I don't know, gets so flooded. So I overfilled this bobbin a little bit, and I think I just got it stuck. I wasn't sure if it was going to spin, and it's not. Let's see if I can get it out. My bobbin winder on this machine, like the one that comes with it, stopped working. Like it's like a little rubber wheel, and it's not catching the gear anymore. I need to get a new one, but because the machine's so old, the piece is on back order, or at least the website that I looked at was on back order. So I bought just like a cheap electric bobbin winder, and it works really well, but I wasn't paying attention. It overfilled it, and I didn't think it was too overfilled where it would get stuck, but that's exactly what's happening. So I need to either wind another one or take off some of the thread on this one. If I can't get it out here in a minute, I'm just going to wind a new one, but it's going to take a minute. I feel like on the lives, it's like, all right, well, you can watch and you can see all the things that can go wrong, so then you don't feel bad if you make the same mistakes. Yeah, I love seeing new places. It's one of the reasons I like doing the sewing conventions in different areas. Whenever we go, like when they were in Florida, we turned it into a vacation, and when we did sewcations in Las Vegas last year, the same thing. Like we took a few days and did all the touristy stuff. There we go. I don't know if you can see it. Like the thread is like slightly taller than the edge of the bobbin. And basically, I'm like wasting a bunch of thread right now, but I also don't want to have to re-roll another one. Because normally, like, when it's on my machine, it's so quick. I can just do it in, like, 2 seconds. But this one I have to plug in with, like, a USB cable and all that fun stuff, so. Alright, I think it's a little bit lower now, so. Yeah, now it will actually spin. There we go. I didn't have to take off as much as I thought, so that's good. And I'm glad it ran out at a point where I wasn't in the middle of top stitching or something like that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is flip this to its right sides. Aw, thanks, Cynthia. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like doing like the structured tutorials for people who just want to, if they like actually want to learn and follow all the steps. Where Tuesday nights I feel like it's, alright, chat with me, learned some things, but I'm not so focused on like necessarily teaching all step by step. This one I'm definitely gonna have to trim down as well. So when I cut out the foam, I was using the pattern piece as if it was going to be like ironed into it and exactly 3/8 inch away from the seam allowance. But because the foam is a little bit more bulky, and I didn't top stitch it yet, but I want to top stitch and do this in the same time, so kind of just maneuvering it so it stays in. I almost wonder if maybe I should have put some double-sided tape just to kind of hold the foam on for me, and that way it wouldn't necessarily like mess up the where it won't get wrinkled, but it would still hold it a little better, so I'm not trying to fight with it. Yeah, exactly. I love chatting, hearing what everybody's working on, like what's going on. I love updating you guys with all the sewing news and stuff in my life. It's nice, and it's really nice because some of you I've been lucky enough to meet in person, so that's really cool too. And hopefully those of you I haven't, hopefully one day. Alright, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to top stitch across and then just base stitch the side and come up around and top stitch on the other side as well. Giving me, sometimes it gives me a little bit of trouble if it's too thick starting, but I was able to get it through. And sometimes in that case, look, I took the arm off and then I'm sewing it on the opposite side. Oh well. I guess if you have a flatbed, this is what you'd have to do anyways, so I guess it works out. I'm hoping it doesn't create a wrinkle or too big of a wrinkle when I get to the other side. Sometimes I don't baste my edges when I'm doing gussets, so that way if there's like stretch or overhang, I can just kind of adjust it into the gusset. But because I'm using the foam, I'm not going to be able to do that here. And I think there might be a little bit of a wrinkle. Oh no, alright. It actually did, it worked out so that there wasn't. I think the way that it was angled made it seem like there was going to be excess, but when I got to the edge, that wasn't actually the case. So that's good. Sorry, I'm like so focused. Gussets, I used to avoid them at all costs. Now they're not so bad, but I feel like just because I've done them so much. And I used to be really like, if they didn't line up so perfect and get like upset about it. But I've learned that they're a lot more forgiving than what I realized. So a lot of times, even if they don't come out like perfectly aligned or whatever, I can still work it into the end. Oh, that's awesome. Did you use like one of the tools to make the bias tape? I don't know if I have the patience to make my own bias tape. I have like a whole drawer filled with the double fold. All right. So it came out pretty good. There's no real, like there's a slight wrinkle here, but this is exactly what I'm talking about, where once that gusset's on, it's gonna be caught up in the seam allowance and you're not even gonna notice it. All right, but now what I need to do is mark my 4 center points. So I like to kind of just clip the sides together to hold it, so that way when I mark them, I can really stretch them out. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I've never purchased the waterproof canvas binding. Usually I use fold over elastic or what's it called? The pre-made double fold bias tape. I really like the fold over elastic because it's very forgiving. I believe that's what I have or had somewhere. I might have moved it. I might have to grab another one. And I'm just marking my 4 centers on each of these things. Some people use scissors and clip them. I tend to prefer using like a marker. I'm always afraid that I'm gonna clip further in than what I'm supposed to. Alright, so I did that, but now I need to do, so then I'll line up the centers on here, because that's one mistake. I don't know why, I just always used to assume that where it combines is the center, and that is not the case. It's actually in a lot of patterns below. So you just want to make sure you're actually marking the centers. It's funny. Gussets is what helped me learn for like collar, like the necks of shirts, like knit shirts and stuff. Yeah, I avoided binding so much as well. Oh, you know what I realized? I realized I didn't put any foam into this one. What did I do with the other piece? Oh well. Alright, well, you can see I literally put no foam in this one. It just has the card slots, and it's not that much more floppy than the other one, this one here that has foam. Alright, so I'm going to put that as my back panel then. Oh, nice. Let me know how it works. Test the ripstop before you use it, because I've seen where some people have had where some ripstop, depending, can fray. I think I saw Lynn's did a video showing like basically the shape of the ripstop, like the pattern on it. Certain ones don't fray. I can't remember if it was like hexagon or what shape the ripstop was. And I'm putting this so it would be, so it's square, because I'm going to put this using a chain for like a crossbody strap. But if I was making this just as a wristlet, I like doing it as the pattern's written, where I line up the center of my zipper tape to the center of the corner. And that's just because, so when you hold it as a wristlet, it hangs, to me it hangs better. Because it hangs in that like I can't talk, sorry, that diamond shape, instead of like a side of a square. I probably should put more clips on this to try to catch everything, but I'm just trying to do it quick too. So I'm gonna start and hope I catch everything. Oh yeah, Shani. Yeah, I that was like one of her. I think I caught it in one of her her Instagram stories that she was talking about it. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the way the cameras are. I'm just finagling, trying to really hold this. I should grab, I just saw my seam ripper stiletto is right here to my right. I am going to use the stiletto portion for the corner of it. Hey Sean, how are you doing? And this is where some people also like staple their gussets. I have not tried doing that. Some people love it and swear by it. I just don't want to have to cut out staples, I guess. But it might actually be helpful. I should have clicked this more, but I'm just kind of going around and guiding it and using my stiletto to catch everything. I'm definitely struggling a little bit around the corners to catch everything. but I'm not worrying about it too much if my seam allowance wiggles. And also because I'm gonna go over it again with binding. So this is more of like a basting stitch. And this is definitely where I think I really like the look of the Majestic nylon, but it is slippery here doing this binding portion. Or like the attaching the gusset before the binding. I'm doing well, Sean. Yeah, I've been very busy with work and stuff, but things are good. How are you liking Field of Dreamers? Yeah, it's the same thing, Nikki. Like, if it wrinkles a little bit, I kind of just hide it underneath the binding. I'll show you after, because there's definitely, like, this is definitely not stitched evenly. And that was one thing I thought, like, I used to get so upset and be like, oh, my gusset moves so much, like, it's not going to work. And now I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to sew it and trust the process, and usually it still comes out okay. Oh, wow, Katie. I wonder, has it been shipped? Is it the shipping? I know shipping has been a little crazy. I think I was also really lucky. I have the Awakening colorway, and I think it was one of the first ones that were shipped. I'm really pleasantly surprised with my colorway as well. All right. So it's a little messy because it's frayed here. So, but you can see, like right here, there's a wrinkle. I guess what I do is I turn it, and I always see like, all right, well, how noticeable is it? So that one is popped out. So I will fix that one. But you can see that it's not like a perfect, it's not perfectly stitched all the way around. And right here, this corner too. So I have two spots that I need to go back over. This corner that I didn't catch, and then I am going to fix that wrinkle. And some people prefer like sewing like gusset up. I don't know why I did it the opposite way. Like I usually do it this way. The next one I'm going to flatten it with the gusset up. I don't know. I guess my brain when I put it down. Alright. And you can see there's like an overhang. But when I pop this out, that corner is fine. So that overhang, I'm just going to trim off. And then let me find where that other wrinkle, right here. Hi Shirley, welcome. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, we have people from Canada, Greenland, the United States, all different states. I appreciate it. I'm just working on a bag right now. It's one of my own patterns, but I've never sewn it with this type of material, a bonded nylon before. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm just picking this apart so I can, there's one wrinkle right here that if it was just the wrinkle and you couldn't see the edge of the fabric through it, I honestly would have left it. But because I could see where it kind of really curled under. Alright, perfect. Alright, so. And I'm going to sew it this way with the gusset side up. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is shot. It has like different ones. I think there are obviously not like real ones, but it has all different countries and stuff. It's kind of fun for like travel bags and whatnot. And then I have a globe zipper pull to go with it. All right. So let me poke this out again. And you can see it's so forgiving. Like that fixed itself, even though I had to trim into it and fix that wrinkle and the corner, you can't tell. So that's what I mean about like with the gussets, like don't beat yourself up too much if they happen to wiggle on you, because they're a lot more forgiving than what it seems like. I'm just trimming down threads, and this one I'm gonna sew gusset side up. Did I mark? I did not mark my centers yet on this one. And this is another reason why I don't clip my centers, that I do the marker, because if it shifts, and I've cut it too far in, then I'm worried that cut will show. Oh, that's good then. I know, I haven't really gotten passport stamp. Well, I haven't really traveled out of country in a while. But I know a lot of places are changing to like the digital stamps. Which is kind of a bummer, because it's always fun seeing your passport like fill up. And I already had marked the centers on my gusset on both sides, so I'm just marking them, and I'm going to clip this side a little bit more. I think especially because of the fabric that I'm using being so slippery. That's a good tip. I always see that, Gail, and I always forget about that option. I've seen people recommend that though, and that it's worked really well for them. It probably would work good on this one. And we'll see how this side goes. This is the side that does have the foam interfacing. So it's definitely a little puffier, which I feel like it, I don't know, it might help it or it might not. Not really sure. We'll find out. Because I feel like this one is sitting better as I'm clipping it. And this one I am going to sew with the gusset side up, which is what I normally do, which is, I don't know why my brain, I guess because it was vertical and sticking out, but This way I can smush it down and you'll probably be able to see a little bit better too. And I start at the top because at the top of the bag, it hides like the back stitching. If there's any wobble or whatever, you're not going to see it up there. This is so much easier this way. I hope I didn't jinx it for the other corners, but already this is going so much better. I'm just trying to get my fabric, like the corner, as close as possible. It's going to be like the other one where it moves a little bit, but... And you can also snip into it, into your gusset to help it go around the corners. That's another tip, but I didn't do that tonight. I don't know if you can see, but I'm like flinging clips everywhere. Oh wow, that's interesting. Was it maybe I wonder if like Canada and the USA have like a agreement since people go over back and forth. But I know in the USA in a lot of the airports they've had like the virtual terminals where they're just like scanning your face. Oh, see, that's not weird. There are a lot of people who use a stapler. I think part of me is also afraid because my seam allowance wiggles that I'm going to hit a staple, and that kind of really makes me nervous. Yeah, with cruising, I've never got a stamp. But I never been to Canada. I want to go. I mean, it's really not that far of a drive if I drive straight up. All right. That side went so much quicker. Definitely better to sew with that gusset side up. You can see a little bit where the corners, there's an overhang. But I'm going to turn it real quick and check it. And I just like to poke everything out and make sure that it looks nice, because if you have any area that you need to fix, you want to do that before you put your binding on. And here you might be able to see my basting stitch. That's just because I didn't do the full seam allowance yet. I'm going to do that when I put my binding. Yeah, I always feel like if I'm going anywhere, I definitely want something stamped. Alright, so I think I'm going to leave the binding off for tonight. I'll probably do that tomorrow just because it's getting late. And all I do is I'll turn this back out and literally put a single strip of double, or yeah, like the double fold bias tape, just wrap it around. I used to sew one side, then fold it over. Now I honestly just clip both sides, or I use the elastic, the fold over elastic, and I'll clip it on both sides. But I'm pretty happy. And then you can see, well, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but on the back side we have the card slots there. And this is what I take to all the concerts, or concerts at certain venues here, because it's small enough to fit their requirements. Unless it's like the big stadium, it doesn't have to be clear. So, and then I love, this is, this chain is from Saya Swag. This is the antique bronze one. It has the lobster clasp. And I love just using them because I feel like it's a time saver of not having to make straps. But you can see, so like if you were using it as a wristlet, you can see how it hangs kind of square. So if I'm using these as just a wristlet, I center the zipper here, so that way when it hangs from a corner. Yeah, no, using a stapler is not weird. A lot of people do it. They have really tiny ones, I guess, that are made for sewing as well. Aw, thanks. I'm really happy with how it came out. Like I said, I've not made it in this, we call it the Majestic nylon, but it's the bonded nylon, bonded poly. I'm really happy with how the end result. I'll do the binding tomorrow in the inside. I just, wanted to have a sample up. And if with sewing the gusset side up, it really wasn't as slippery as that first side. Yeah, I love chain straps. It just makes it quicker on the sewing process. And straps are not my favorite thing to make. I think that's why I don't like making my own bias tape. I hate the tediousness of, like, especially with fabric, folding it to the middle, then having to iron it, or double-sided tape or whatnot. But alright, well, thank you so much, especially those of you that have been on from the beginning when we had the tech hiccup and had to restart. I really appreciate everybody joining in with me. As of right now, I don't think there's anything next Tuesday, so I plan on being live. I'm not sure what I'll be sewing yet, or cutting out bag patterns maybe. I'm going to make some kits for April, so it could be that too. But I hope you guys have a great week and that everything's going well. If you're new here, thank you. I tried to come on every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully I'll see you again. And I will put the link, I'm going to double check, but that retreat that I was talking about, the So Sweet retreat, I'll put the link for the group in my So Majestic Facebook group, so you can find it there. And actually, when I get off, I'll put it in the description here as well. So, no, don't, oh my gosh, Nikki, don't worry. No, I'm just happy to see you on and that you're doing well. So, have a great week, everyone. We'll see you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.